All right, good afternoon, Barret. It's the two of us in an empty office right now on Wednesday, the 11th of March, and we're just going to go over some questions. So I'm going to kind of do a bit of an interview
Perfect.
with you today
Sounds good.
and
It's
see how
5
things are
p.m.,
going.
end of business day. It's been a long day already,
And I'm already
but yes.
down to a t-shirt myself.
Yeah,
Been a very long day. We're going to blast right into it here.
sure.
Um, Barret, the company threw out a few different numbers when it came to potential overstaffing. Jimmy Dean Porter's latest call mentioned overstaffing. Um, How do you want the members to understand what actually happened in that room with the management and where they were getting at with the overstaffing coming up?
So what I love is the new format that's coming out. So the next fast read that comes out actually details a meeting that we had with management about 3 weeks ago. It was a virtual meeting after our first introductory that we had about a month prior to that. And we tabled issues that are facing the pilot group to look for some resolutions, and they tabled a couple of issues back to us. One of them was the vote of non-confidence. And then after Diedrich left, we talked a little bit about overstaffing. Jimmy presented that the company was possibly overstaffed in the shoulder seasons. Forgive me, I think in the update we wrote 2040, but then it was 2060, but it could have been 5040. That's all detailed in the update that we're sending out. It was a bit ridiculous because we thought it was short-sighted. Yes, you could be overstaffed in the shoulder season slightly, but reducing crews or doing anything of that nature is really short-sighted to shave pennies. The passenger rights fees, the cancellation fees, not having people available to come in on their days off to do flights. Look, this is a business. You carry it through the highs, you carry it through the lows. You need to rely on your staff and respect them. So really, there's no answer for that. I think they can come through the shortfall and move forward.
The union called the overstaffing idea short-sighted number crunching. Do you
Correct.
stand behind that? And is that the
I do.
message you want members to take away?
I do. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
Diedrich Penn said he never envisioned crew members commuting from Montreal or Toronto to Vancouver. How significant is that statement to you, and what do you want members to read into it?
So it is significant, and the members should read into it that we've tabled it. He's now told us that that's not what they wanted, so I expect a solution.
I know I brought up the flare jump
You
seat,
did.
right?
You did.
And it's something that WestJet pilots and flare pilots don't have access to our reciprocal jump seat. You offered to personally call the flare CEO to get the jump seat agreement moving again.
Len Corrado, yes.
Has that happened, and what should members expect to hear on that front?
Well, Diedrich said that he was going to reach out to Len Corrado because he's got his phone number too. This was about 3 weeks ago. So no cost item, but would make everybody's lives a lot easier commuting when they weren't supposed to be commuting, but they are commuting. And we are still waiting to hear.
You mentioned a little bit ago here the we said they said format of the fast read.
Yes.
Can you walk members through what that looks like and why you think it's important?
Yeah, I think it's important because if the membership doesn't know what we're talking about, or if we're actually bringing their issues to the table with the company to discuss, this is now a way that, hey, we meet with the company, you tell us what you need, we present it to them, we say, okay, let's come up with some solutions here. And the items that we brought to them were really no-cost items. If the company is serious in improving the working conditions for the membership, then they can action those. And this is a way for West to communicate to the membership that, hey, we've done this, now we're waiting for a response. And it's up to the company to respond whether they're going to proceed with it and actually assist the membership or not. And if they don't, we'll communicate that too.
In your video notes, you said don't get involved in a witch hunt with the company for sick time.
That's
Is that the tone you want to carry into the written update, or you want it to dial it back a bit for the fast read audience?
I don't know. I think it's appropriate because people do wind up getting themselves into trouble on sick time. If you're not fit for work, we expect that you book off. If you're on vacation somewhere and you need a couple of extra days, but you are fit for work, we expect that you go to work. Don't get rolled into a witch hunt with the company. Be strategic, be clear, and be honest with them. If you're booking up because you're sick, end of story. The labor code is very clear in terms of your rights. That's in our update along with the collective agreement language.
So speaking of the update, we're going to have it attached to this MEC update with this video. The update's pretty direct about termination risk when it comes to misusing sick time. Are you comfortable with how strongly that's worded, or are you worried it might make members hesitant to book off when they're genuinely sick?
I hope it doesn't. If you are genuinely sick, you should book off all the time. This is just specifically discussing time theft. Look, if you're playing games, then the company's going to come after you. And we don't want to see that, and you shouldn't be playing games. If you're sick, you're sick. If you're not good to go to work because you don't feel well, book off.
100%. A lot of members might not realize the company can use their EFB geolocation as evidence in a sick leave investigation.
Yeah.
Do you want to make sure that point really hits home, or is it enough that it's mentioned?
I think it's enough that it's mentioned. Hey, if you're taking your iPad on vacation and you're calling it sick for 3 weeks after that, you should be thinking about what you're doing.
How serious is the wellness check situation right now? Is this something members need to treat as an urgent issue, or more of a good reminder to keep in their back pocket?
I think it's a good reminder to keep in the back pocket. And they can read a little bit more about that in Jeff Roberts and the Grievance Committee's update.
Speaking of the update, the grievance document went through a lot of revisions before it landed where it did. Are you happy with the final version, or do you feel like anything important got left on the cutting room floor?
I think the final version was appropriate because we don't want anything that's too lengthy for the membership. But we will talk about cutting, pasting, and erasing in a few minutes.
The document tells members they're entitled to have a union rep present before
are.
answering any questions from management. Should that right be front and center, bolded, called out on its own, so there's no chance a member misses it?
Always. Yeah.
Switching to one of your favorite topics of late that you've been doing a lot of work on, health and safety.
Ooh, health and safety is a big one. I'm
You-
super excited about that one.
You talked about hotels,
Yeah.
dirty flight decks,
Yeah.
dangerous conditions,
Yeah.
all of that falling under health, occupational health and safety now. Can you explain a little bit to the membership what you're talking about here?
For sure. So what we noticed when we came in here, and I took a look at all the committees and how they were being managed, and I guess the direction they would go and where they were located and who they reported to. We noticed that Central Air and Safety, which is more of an SMS type thing, you've got the investigations, and then you had health and safety there also. We wanted to separate church and state because one deals specifically with Part 2 of the Labor Code, one deals with a whole bunch of other areas, and we didn't really want them confused. So we separated it out, and the Health and Safety Committee was looking for some more assistance. So we came in and we found somebody with decades of experience. His name is Denton Miller. So he is now chair of the Health and Safety Committee to strategically look at Part 2 of the Labor Code and correct errors, correct safety issues that we find online every day. And a lot of people don't know exactly what health and safety is or how vast it can be. Hotels. If you're in a hotel or you're in a dangerous situation or there's a health problem in that hotel, that's health and safety. If you're in a dirty flight deck that hasn't been cleaned, that's your work environment. That's health and safety. If you look at all of our committees, at some point or another, all of them will have something to do with health and safety. So I wanted to make sure that committee was set on its own. They report directly to me.
So further to that, you described the committee separation as church and state.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain to members why that separation was necessary?
I think it was necessary because you have SMS, which runs through one thing, and you have health and safety, which runs through something completely different. That's sort of the separation we're talking about.
Attached to this communication is a attachment from Pay Equity. If you could describe a little bit what that attachment is and where this fits into the whole pilot scheme of things.
For sure. So dealing with that committee, they are heading back to the table with WestJet as a group. So all the unions work together in terms of pay equity, and it was put in by the government a number of years ago. Although it had stalled here, we received an email from the company congratulating and being excited to come back to the table because they're allowed to start working again. The actual facts are in the fast read if you read it.
Excellent. Thank you, Barret. Last but not least, we're actually heading to Valo, which is in Washington, D.C. next week. It's your first time going to Valo.
It is.
What do you hope to accomplish down in Washington?
I hope to see what services they've got for us that we can utilize going forward. That's what I'm excited about.
Spectacular. So we intend to do some video from down in Valo.
Yep.
And so that's likely our next video after this one. And I really look forward to sharing with the membership a lot of the services that ALPA offers, especially going into negotiations here. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in.
Thanks.